Before we get into today's video, I just want to let you guys know that this video is for educational purposes only. Please remember to be kind to everybody everywhere in your everyday life, in your home, in the grocery store, and especially in the comment section down below. Please do not show hate to anybody, anywhere. So good morning, good morning, good morning. How's everybody doing today? I hope you all are having an amazing day. I hope you all have had a wonderful week so far. So in today's video, we are going to be talking about a very interesting, I would just say, and it is an older story. And this story actually takes place in Hong Kong. Now, this case did not come to light because investigators were out searching for the answers of something. This case came to light because a teenager walked into the police station there in Hong Kong and said that she was being haunted by a ghost. Now, at first, the officers at the station thought that this was ridiculous. They're like, okay, this is a teenager. You're just having funny dreams. Get out of here. But then she told them something that made them want to check in to what she was saying. Before we get into it, though, I did want to let you guys know, if you don't already know, hi, my name is Christina. I do have a second channel, which is Casually Christina. We just do things way more casually over there. I also have a Patreon. My Patreon's for 18 and up. And over there, we talk about more personal stuff. We go live over there. There's a $2 tier for all the true crime stuff that cannot go onto YouTube due to their terms and policies. That goes over on my Patreon under the $2 tier. Just make sure you read the full about section and what each tier offers before you join. I'm also on Instagram, Snapchat, and Facebook. And I'm also on Like to Know It, and Like to Know It is the platform where you can find links to a lot of the things that I use and like and that y'all ask about. Everything from this chair, this top, earrings, makeup, this tree behind me. Things that you guys ask about and I like, I'll post the links over there on my Like to Know It so you can find them. All of those platforms are linked down in the description box if you would like to come and check me out. Before we go any further, I did want to stop and thank today's sponsor, Factor. Factor delivers fresh, never frozen, dietitian-approved meals right to your front door. And when it comes to meals, everyone wants the same thing, and that is options. That's why Factor offers 35 wholesome meals every single week, including Gourmet Plus, Keto, Calorie Smart, vegan, and veggie, so you'll always have something that you love and that will suit your lifestyle. And whether you are managing your calories or maximizing your protein intake or simply just trying to eat more balanced, Factor has dietitian-approved meals that will help you with your wellness goals. And not only can you choose from 6 meal preferences, but you can round out your order with nutrient-rich smoothies, snacks, and energy shots to keep you satisfied all day long. This is a very busy time of the year for me because of sports, with my son, along with everything else, and I'm sure a lot of y'all can relate. Factor has been a lifesaver in many different ways. Let me show y'all what I'm going to be making for dinner tonight. And tonight is what I call my freebie night. This is my little Factor hack. I have 3 Factor meals here, one for myself, one for my 13-year-old, and one for my husband. These meals are the truffle butter filet mignon. They have 40 grams of protein in them. They have 25% of your daily intake of iron in each one of these meals. And so when we get back from football practice tonight and everybody's exhausted and we get our showers, I will just pop this in the microwave for 2.5 to 3 minutes, plate it up for my boys, and boom. They have a healthy and nutritious dinner, and this is what I call my cheat night. If you want to try Factor, all you gotta do is go to factor75.com or just click the link down in the description box and use my code ChristinaRandall50 to get 50% off of your first Factor box and 20% off of your next month's orders. Yes, that's code ChristinaRandall50 at factor75.com to get 50% off of your first box and then 20% off of your next month's orders today. Thanks again, Factor. Okay, let's talk about the story of Fan Man-yee. She was born in 1976 in Shenzhen, China. Fan passed away in 1999, and her passing almost went completely unnoticed until this 14-year-old known as Ah Fong went in and told the police that she was being haunted. In May of 1999, Ah Fong went to a Hong Kong police station to tell the officers that for the past several weeks, she had been being haunted by a ghost of a woman whose life had been ended in her apartment. So she's coming in there and the officers are like, okay, girl, you're having weird dreams because now you think that somebody that's life was ended in your apartment is haunting you. So initially the cops just completely brushed Ah Fong off. They thought that she was a teenager, she was having bad dreams, and she also might be trying to stir a little trouble with these silly ghost stories. However, when Ah Fong went on to tell the cops that she herself actually had a hand in this woman's passing, this is when the cops started to wonder if what Ah Fong was saying might actually be true. So the officers decided that they were going to follow Ah Fong back to an apartment where they discovered the woman that we're going to be talking about today, where she had actually passed away at. So let's back things up and talk about who Fan actually was. At a young age, Fan was abandoned by her family, which led her to being raised in an all-girls orphanage. When Fan was just 15 years old, she was told that she needed to leave the orphanage because of an age restriction that they had in place. So basically what it seems like is she aged out of their system that they had there. From what I could find, it seems like in this orphanage, they were getting full. And so as they continued to bring in younger orphans, the older ones were pushed out into the street. It is said that the orphanage had actually hoped that Fan would be adopted at some point, but she never got adopted. So when she was pushed out onto the street, she was all alone. This was the beginning of a very steep downfall for Fan. So at just 15 years old, Fan was homeless and she had formed a substance abuse issue as well. Given all of this, Fan turned to what I guess we would call street working or ladies of the night type of thing. She was doing anything that she could to make money. And by the time she turned 21 years old, she started working at a club/brothel called Romance Villa. She was becoming a part of a very dangerous lifestyle that would eventually turn on her. Then, 2 years later, in 1998, Fan ended up giving birth to a son. The father of her son was one of her clients, actually. She would go on to marry this man in 1996. Sadly, Fan's husband was described as very aggressive with her by the neighbors in their apartment building. They said that they would be woken up in the middle of the night by sounds of a couple fighting, and they could hear their son screaming and crying at the same time. It became a very toxic environment, and because of this, Fan decided to turn her life around so she could be the best mother that she could possibly be to her son. She ended up quitting her job and she quit all the substances that she was using and became a hostess at a nightclub called Empress Karaoke Club. Fan even decided to leave her husband to try to make it on her own as a single mother. I mean, this was very hard for her. She wasn't making a lot of money at all. And now I have heard different reasons for this, but nevertheless, she ended up deciding that she was going to steal the wallet of one of her former clients from the club, Chan Man-lok. Fan met Chan in early 1997, again, when she was still working at this brothel. Chan was 34 years old and he was known to be a pimp and a substance dealer who always was at the club socializing. He was a member of the Triads, which was an organized crime, basically gang over there in Hong Kong. The two had similar issues, and so they became close. And this is what also led Fan back into substances at this point. Fan was desperate for money, so she decided to steal Chan's wallet, which actually had $4,000 US inside it. And she stole this wallet from him on March 17th of 1999, which $4,000 is a lot of money now in the US. $4,000 is a lot of money back in 1999 in Hong Kong as well. I mean, it is a ton of money. But it did not take Chan long to notice that his money and his wallet were missing, and he knew immediately who had taken it. He knew it was Fan. Chan had two of his, what we would call buddies, go and look for Fan. He told them that when they found her, to not only get the cash back from her, but also to tell her that she needed to start working, lady of the night type of working, for him in order to make up for stealing this money from him. He wanted at least $10,000 in interest from Fan. However, this little plan that Chan had very quickly escalated and got totally out of hand. When Chan and his two friends ended up finding Fan, they decided that getting this money back and forcing Fan to work for Chan wasn't enough. They really wanted to hurt her. So they forced Fan to leave her apartment with them, and they took her to one of Chan's apartments. He actually had multiple apartments, one of which his wife and newborn baby lived in, but that's not the one that they ended up taking Fan to. The one that they ended up taking her to was a very run-down apartment that was only used for work purposes. Strangely though, the entire apartment just about was completely covered in Hello Kitty memorabilia. They ended up tying Fan up, and they completely had their way with her for over a month. Now, mind you, not only have they taken her, they ended up tying her up and burning her and using her as a punching bag. They forced her to eat human, you know what. They dripped hot wax on her. They rubbed spices into her wounds. They just straight up tortured this woman while she was hanging in this apartment that is decorated with all of this like happy Hello Kitty stuff. I mean, it had to have been, I can't even imagine. It is believed that Fan ended up passing away overnight on April 14th of 1999. After Chan and his friends discovered Fan had passed away, they moved her body to the bathtub, and this is when they decided on a new plan. And if you ask me, when I was researching this, I was thinking they had to be so high out of their minds, because remember, Chan was a substance dealer, and I saw that crystal was something that they were allegedly using, which is so crazy because I did not even know that it was available in certain parts of the world, and I definitely did not know it was available back in 1999. But whatever they were on, they had to have been tripping so out of their minds to be doing something like this, because once they moved her into the bathtub after she was gone, this is when they decided to take her apart. And then they decided to cook certain parts that they removed, because they believed that if they cooked her, that it would stop this smell of decomposition that was seeping out of this apartment at the time. Allegedly, they used a pot of boiling water that was on the same stove that they ended up cooking their food on. And after they were cooking these parts, they would throw pieces into the trash. However, they saved her head. And after boiling it on the stove and allegedly using the same cooking utensils, they were cooking their food, they were cooking other things, they were cooking their food with the same spoon. They ended up sewing her skull into a large Hello Kitty mermaid doll. They also kept one of Fan's teeth and several of her organs in a plastic bag. That's what I'm saying. Like, to have this many people doing this, and they not only did they have to be evil and sick, but they had to, in my personal opinion, they had to have been so tweaked or whatever it is out of their minds. This is when the Fong, this 14-year-old girl that I told you guys about in the beginning of this video, went to the police station and reported that she had been being haunted by Fan. She said that she needed to tell the cops what happened to hopefully get Fan to stop haunting her. Fong was actually one of Chan's little girlfriends, or more like she worked for him, if you know what I mean. She was the one who found Fan deceased, and she too played a role in Fan's passing. She hurt Fan allegedly just as much as the men did, and she would hysterically laugh about it. According to Fong, she says that one time when she was at Chan's apartment, when Fan was still alive, she saw Chan kick Fan at least 50 times in the head, like over and over and over again. Now, Fong, was actually given immunity when she later agreed to testify against everybody else and to give the details of exactly what happened to Fan. All those details, just what we know here, that's just what we know because all the details have not even been released. But one thing that Ah Fong did say, when she was asked about why Chan did what he did to Fan, Ah Fong said, "I had a feeling it was for fun." Crazy. Ah Fong took officers to the apartment where Fan was, and what was left of Fan's body was recovered and sent to the medical examiner. Chan and his two friends argued about what exactly caused Fan's death. They believed that she actually OD'd on meth, but the officers were not convinced. The medical examiner could never say for sure, but they believe that Fan passed away from her extensive injuries, and that's what I believe as well. Chan and his two friends were arrested, and they ended up being charged with Fan's murder. Now, Chan and his two friends ended up going to trial, and it started on October 20th of 2000. It lasted for several months, and during the trial, like I said before, Ah Fong got up and testified. According to her, because she did not want to be haunted anymore by Fan, she told the jury absolutely everything. But because it could not be proven whether Fan actually passed away from an OD or if she actually passed away from the injuries that she suffered from at the hands of these three men, the jury decided to convict all three of them for manslaughter instead of for actual intentional murder. The jury also said that they could not determine whether or not the three men actually intended to end Fan's life, so they did not have the intent aspect in order to convict them of the higher charge. However, they were all three sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole in 20 years. Ah Fong was released and she was placed into foster care. Don't really know what all ended up happening with Ah Fong. Now, the aftermath of this was Fan's skull ended up being kept by the state until all three men exhausted all of their appeal options. It was then given to Fan's birth family in March of 2004. They had it cremated. The apartment building where all of this took place was completely demolished in 2012 and totally rebuilt into a hotel in 2016. Two Buddha portraits sit in the hotel as a memorial. A necklace that belonged to Fan that was found in the refrigerator of the apartment was given to her son. One of the three men that were convicted was able to win an appeal in 2004. He got his sentence reduced from life to 18 years, and he was released in April of 2014. 8 years later, in August of 2022, he was arrested again for essaying a 10-year-old. Yeah. To this day, the Hello Kitty murder case remains one of the most disturbing in modern Hong Kong history. What do I think? Well, I told y'all already in the video. Not only do I think it's disturbing, absolutely crazy, because people do substances all the time, right? And they do crazy things. But this next level, and to get this many people involved, they had to have been so tweaked out of their mind. And you mix those substances with severe evilness, demonic, and mental illness, certain when you mix certain substances with those things, I mean, shoot, we saw what happened with the 25-year-old college student down in Florida, Austin, who smoked green. We don't know what else he did, but he smoked green and he attacked that couple that was sitting in their garage. And, so you mix substances with certain other things and you get this horrific situation. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Other than that, I love you guys. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Love you guys. Bye.